Hi, Bishop Peter, and welcome to another exciting episode of Faith Questions with Bishop Peter.
Thanks, Mark.
So our question today is a very practical topic, really. It's what practical steps can an average local parish take to help regenerate their parish in line with your vision as you cast it when you were first elected bishop those 3 years ago?
One of the first things a parish can do is to pause, think, reflect, maybe get some advice in. It could be from someone like yourself or another member of our diocesan ministry team, just to assess, so where are we actually at in terms of regeneration, and what might a next step look like? Because across 55 parishes, the next step could be a bit different in each case.
Sure.
One of the things I want to emphasise is that when we talk about regeneration, we're not asking a church that, say in 2022, has got, say, 50 people and their average age is 70 and there are no children, no young adults, to suddenly within 5 years become dramatically different, full of children, young adults, multiple generations. It'd be great if that happened, but realistically in the way churches develop, the next step for such a congregation might be to work out, if the average age is 70, how could we be average age, say, of 60 in 4 years' time?
Okay.
In other words, to have a modest but achievable ambition.
Sure.
And that's where I think some advice from outside could help.
Okay.
And another church, though, might have, say, 60 people, and maybe there are a couple of families there with small children. What would that parish need to do to, say, double that number of children in the next 2 years? That's the kind of thing which can be answered locally, helped with by our DMT.
Right, so it's about, modest but achievable goals, as it were, either numbers or age profile, those kinds of things.
Absolutely. But here's the one thing every parish can do this Sunday. Every parish this Sunday could really warmly welcome a new person. Do you know what one of the most embarrassing things for me as a bishop is, as I go around my diocese, our diocese?
I'm afraid to ask, but tell me anyway.
Well, people come up to me, someone did this yesterday, and they said, you know what, when my family went to visit one of your parishes 3 years ago, no one talked to them.
Okay.
So they went and looked for another church.
Okay.
And maybe it's not an Anglican church. Well, Anglicans are normally nice people. We need to find a way to translate our niceness into an actual effort to welcome a newcomer.
Sure.
A good welcome will often help that newcomer to stay. A newcomer who stays is part of the regeneration of our church.
So in some ways, a solution is right there. It could be right there on Sunday. It's just how we reach out and in a normal and friendly way to that newcomer. That's
right. Sometimes to me it takes a bit of effort, like actually not talking to my best friend at church and going and talking to the person who's standing alone. And sometimes it's a bit harder. I'm a relatively shy person myself, but you can learn to overcome your own shyness and go and make that first move and talk to someone. Right.
So I'm hearing a two-point response there. I won't say sermon, it's not a sermon. Take stock. You're inviting church leaders to take stock, think and plan. I think that's really good, because sometimes we keep doing the same old things, we're just getting the same old results. So prayerfully taking stock, maybe getting some help in to be more reflective about what's happening and what could happen. And then the second big thing is welcoming newcomers sensitively, warmly, normally, and we might see some newcomers this very coming Sunday, so it could happen immediately, almost.
Those two things would be great, and I think in this series we're going to come back to the topic of regeneration, so there'll be some other things to say as we go along.
I think we will be. So thank you very much for your time. That concludes our discussion for today. And a reminder to our viewers that if you found today's question interesting, please like this video and forward the link to others. And don't forget to engage with questions of faith yourself. Get involved in your local church and pass on the good news of Jesus. In these challenging times, he is still the hope of the world.